Kentucky coach Mark Pope is casting a wide net when it comes to recruits in the 2026 class. But which ones should Kentucky fans really be paying attention to? That's the conversation we're going to have on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. Carson, we went to the Reds game yesterday. It was fun to see the Yankees play again, and we, I guess, picked the wrong of the three games.
Yeah, 100%. But it's always good to go watch the Reds play. And, we won the series. So who really cares about the game three anyway?
And we did probably see the AL Cy Young winner, and he looked like it last night. And we saw Aaron Judge. And
he's much bigger in person.
Dude, the ball, I don't know how many Reds fans we have here. Let us know that. We have a question of the day, too. We'll incorporate that here in a second. But if you're a Reds fan, let us know in the comments. But Aaron Judge, that one, so if y'all were watching the game, he ripped a double kind of like over the third baseman's head yesterday, scored a couple runs. That was one of the hardest hit balls I've seen in person in my entire life. I mean, that thing was ripped. When that hit the outfield wall, there's definitely a permanent indent in that wall. But Carson, tee up the question of the day now.
Yeah, so there's been some controversy, and I know they went out of business in Lexington, and I picked up two slices of pizza last night from none other than LaRosa's Pizza, and my brother's like, I hate LaRosa's. I'm like, what? I love LaRosa's. So tell us what y'all think. Is LaRosa's good or not?
I went up to a Reds game a few months back with our buddy Luke, and he is like, and he's one of those people, he's very Italian, and he likes to let you know about it. And he is anti LaRosa's so much that like so that's like when I first started thinking about this, and then we brought it up. So let us know, are you a Reds fan? Are you a LaRosa's fan? Yes or no? Curious on those things. And then we're gonna have another question that stay till the end because it'll be recruiting. This will be the real question of the video. But so what we're gonna talk about today is the recruits Kentucky's after in this 2026 class, and a lot of good names. I mean, once again, Coach Pope has casted a wide net in this class. According to 24/7 Sports, we've offered 14 kids. They also have a list of like prospects, and I believe there's 23 names on that list. But of the concrete offers right now, it looks like 14. But what we're going to do today is Carson and I are going to tell you about the 6, 7, 8. That was not meant to be. I really didn't mean that as a 6, 7 thing. But that's funny that ropes in. The 6, 7, 8, whatever recruits that we're really after. And then we're going to break that down to a list of 3 names that Mark Pope cannot miss in this 2026 class. So Carson, I mean, run through some names and we'll talk about them, and then we'll break down that list at the tail end.
Yeah. One that stands out to me because I think he fits what we're trying to do perfectly is Mika Murinen, who's out of Compass Prep in Arizona. So, he's a West Coast kid. So sometimes it's hard to pull those guys across to the East Coast. But I really like his game. He's a stretch forward. He's 6'10", can pretty much do it all. He's like, if you were to think of an Andrew Carr that's like way more athletic and more versatile, that's your guy.
Yeah.
And then you got to love Tyran Stokes, Louisville native, number 1 in the class for a good reason. I mean, he's an all-around superstar. Not much to say else there. And then there's Jason Crow Jr., who also is a West Coast guy, but he's got ties with Jason Hart. And he can light it up. I mean, he led the EYBL in scoring. So that dude can absolutely kill you in every way possible. Love Caleb Holt as well. He's at Prolific Prep down in Fort Lauderdale. And he's a 1 through 3 guard. He can play the 1, but he can also play the 3. He's strong. He reminds me a lot of Otega, but he's got a better jumper. So a lot good there with him. And then Akena Alozie, I don't know. His name's kind of hard to pronounce, but he cut his list down to 8. And he's a top 10 guard as well, which I don't feel as great about that guy because I think he's going to stay out west with either Arizona or Gonzaga. That would be my prediction. And then there's Darren Rippey Jr., and he's another guard. And he got to play with Pope as well as Talon and Tyran on the USA team. Same with Caleb Holt as well. And then another one, Talon Kinney, right? So that's another guy. But those are my guys. Those are the 6 guys that I'm really looking at for this class.
There's one name here that sticks out to me. And I think right now, and you can tell me, Carson, if you disagree with what I'm about to say. there's one player that I think I feel the best about. And I also think that he's a guy that I just don't want to miss on. And that's Jason Crow Jr. I think that he's been the guy, heck, for 8 months, maybe even a year, that it's been very clear. We've known about his ties to this coaching staff. And on top of that, he's a top 5 player, and for a good reason. He is a player that will be a lottery pick wherever he ends up going. But I think that he wants to be at Kentucky, Carson, and he's the guy. And we talk, like you just said, his connections to the coaching staff. This is the name to me that, and we'll give our top 3 lists. And part of the issue here for me, Carson, is we're after a lot of good point guards. That's a little scary because, I mean, how many are going to want to come here? That's the question. But I think a lot of folks would say.
But my thing is, a lot of these guards are combo guards. So I think they can play the 1 and 2, especially Crow, because he can spread the floor and score it any way possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. But that's what's going to be interesting to me is, do these guys want to play together? I agree with you on the fact that what you just said of a couple of them can be combo guys. Some can play 2, some can play the 1, some can play both. And once again, what I'm talking about right now, that's the job of Mark Pope. That's the job of telling these recruits, what are they going to be here at Kentucky? What is their role going to be? But I mean, so if I had to ask you this question right now, if you had to pick between Kenny and Crow Jr., who would you pick right now?
Yeah,
universe.
The Kentucky people might not like my answer, but I'm gonna have to go Jason Crow Jr. I just think he's a guy when you're like, oh, top 5 draft pick, that's what you envision. I mean, he can absolutely get buckets at every single level. He's a 3-level scorer. He's a great facilitator. I mean, he averaged over 26 points a game in the EYBL. That's really, really impressive. So it would be him for me. But, I mean, a second place Taylon Kenny is not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
It's not. I actually agree with you. I like Crow Jr. a lot, and I think that Taylon Kenny is just a stud, man. He's a good player. What I'm looking at with this class, though, Carson, and I am curious with Stokes and Kenny. You know, Kenny's a Newport native. He's a Northern Kentucky guy. Stokes is a Louisville guy. And you're never going to see recruits bash a school. But they've been saying, I don't know. There's a lot going on with Louisville there. And I'm not waving the white flag on this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Kelsey and Pope are going to be throwing a lot of left and right hooks over those 2 recruits. I actually lean towards Stokes being the one that's going to be a little even tougher for us to pull away. Because I just think that just what he had to say, I think it was to Jack Pilgrim when they were in Colorado. I think he really wants to represent Louisville. And I'm not saying that we're going to lose the recruiting battle. I'm just saying I think that I've seen a lot of Kentucky fans feel great about where we're at. I don't know if I'd say I feel great. I'd say I feel good. But I could see those 2 battles being decided inside of the state lines of Kentucky.
Yeah, and one thing that I do love for Kentucky is with the Crow situation is him and Stokes play AAU ball together. Mm-hmm. So that could be another connection that could help us out, because I think if I were to tab it, I think Crow's probably the most likely to commit to us out of all of these recruits. So if we could get him on board early and then start recruiting Stokes as a teammate, that would be great as well. And I mean, I heard great things about TK's visit to Kentucky the other day, and same with Stokes. And, you know, every time Kentucky has a really, really good player, and I mean, Stokes is like generational. So I think it's going to be hard for him not to go to Kentucky, because I think Louisville doesn't have the publicity that Kentucky does. Like, no one watches Louisville games. They're on ACC Network. They're not really on ESPN. They don't get the bump, that the ratings bump that everyone gets. I think Tyrann Stokes would be not very smart to choose Louisville over Kentucky just based on that aspect. If he really wants to live up to the hype of being the number 1 recruit, I think he should go to Kentucky. He will make more money at the end of the day if he were to go to Kentucky over Louisville.
I mean, I am fully in agreement with you on that. And when I look at when I sit down and I take a look at this class, I just think that pairing Crow and Stokes would be awesome. And this is, and I want to reiterate this point that we are not dissing Taylon Kinney right now. This is like what would I rather Carson Venmo me right now? 110 or 109?
Yeah, like who do I like better, Thor or Iron Man? I don't know. Yeah, you can't really go wrong with either one.
They're both great. And I think that Crow and Stokes combination is something that could be very realistic. And I think they could be what happened last night, as much as I hate to say it, with the Duke Blue Devils, you could see happen with those two guys in that 2027 draft. I mean, that's how good they are. And I think that they're a mix that could be special if wherever they go. If they separate, if they play together, I think they're going to be special. But I like our shot there. So, I mean, now I want to talk to you about the Mika kid, Carson. We heard a lot about him like 6-7 months ago. I keep doing this. I'm really not mean like the 6-7. I really not even meaning that as a joke. That's I really
6-7.
Yeah. But seriously, that was the time frame when that happened. But months ago, and I just haven't heard as much about him.
Yeah. Well, he's going through the process of scheduling visits, and he definitely said he's visiting Kentucky in the fall. So I feel like that's a good sign for us as well.
It says that Coach Pope went and visited him in April, and that's the last thing on his timeline on 24/7 Sports. The last, let's pull up his full. Let's see what he's done with Kentucky. It looks like he took an official to Arkansas. Coach Pope went to visit him, and so he hasn't. I mean, according to this timeline, he hasn't been here. He's been to Arkansas on a visit in September of 2024. And this is just kind of since early football season, the stuff's quieted down on him. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's not an issue. This is a quiet recruitment. I haven't seen as much on him. Coach Pope went and saw him. I mean, how much you want to write into this is up to people individually. But I mean, if you go look at his list, the only school that it says warm next to is Kentucky. So I mean, there is genuine interest there, and I would love for me.
Like I said, I think he fits what we're trying to do perfectly. Like he's the perfect stretch forward. If you were to want one, like that guy is what Pope dreams of.
Yeah. I mean, he is, because he can do everything on the floor. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can get to the rim, he can defend. He's an all-around player in every aspect of the game. So to me, Carson, and we can talk about this as long as you want, but I do have some more things I want to talk about, but I'm going to get to the point here early. The 3 can't miss players on this list for me are Crow, Stokes, and Mika. Now, if you expanded it to 4, I'd probably Kinney'd be on there. And if something happens with Crow and he commits elsewhere, Kinney pops on this list immediately. But like you said, I think the Iron Man and Thor thing is a great example. I mean, it's, we're debating over 2 top 12 players here. I mean, it's a tough thing to argue. But those are the 3 players on the list for me, Carson. I mean, have you kind of gotten to where you've compiled yours, or are you still kind of thinking about it?
Yeah, and mine's a little different than yours. I mean, I have Stokes at the 1 for sure. Like, Stokes is the guy that you can't miss on, because I think he's a surefire number 1 pick. And then you got number 2 is going to be Jason Crow, because, I mean, that dude can light it up. And number 3 for me is actually Caleb Holt. Okay. I love Caleb Holt's game. It reminds me, he reminds me a little bit of Anthony Edwards, a little bit, how he's so explosive and can do everything. And after the USA camp with Pope, he had a great quote, as he said he gained a lot of trust in Pope. He loved Pope coaching him, and it's going to help a lot in his recruitment, because he said Pope was drawing up plays for me, showing trust in me. So that makes me trust him a whole lot more, and his philosophy and everything. So I think that was huge for Kentucky in the recruitment of Caleb Holt.
I think that Coach Pope, I mean, this is a little subject change, but going to that was awesome. I mean, because I don't know what he was allowed to do or say, or I don't know about the rules of that, but I mean, I saw the video. Was it Kinney that he was like shooting with around to the side? Like, he made some headway in some of these recruiting battles just by, I think, them getting to know him. I mean, Coach Pope's a good guy. I'd want to play for Mark Pope, and I think that, these recruits kind of got to see that side of him, and they got to see a coaching side of him.
Yeah.
So I think that could end up, if we land some of these great guys that were at that USA thing in Colorado Springs, I think that could be something you mark back and go, man, I'm glad that Coach Pope went to that. That really helped us out.
I say one thing with a lot of these recruitments is it's going to depend on what happens this year with a couple of the guys, right? Because you got Lowe that can stay for 2 years. What happens there? Does he go to the draft after this year? Or does he come back? Then that takes away a guard spot. Same with the 4. You got Mo Diabate. He's probably going to be here for this year and next year. Yeah. And then you got Yelovich, who's backing him up. So, like, what happens there? So Mika might just not even be on the table if both of those guys come back.
Yeah.
And then you got Jasper, who might be a 2-year player, which I've heard awesome things about Jasper, by the way, like complete standout in practices. So that he might be a 1-year guy. But a lot of guys can come back for the next year, and that might change the recruitments for a lot of these players.
I agree. Now this brings up a question along the lines of this I got for you, Carson. But this is when it becomes the debate of what Calipari was doing for years at Kentucky and what Mark Pope is doing now and the changes there. But if I said, let's say Yelovich, here's the deal. If Yelovich is the player we think he can be, he's going to be in the NBA after this year. We still don't know. He's not even here. We have no idea what's going to happen with him. But let's say that he's good, not elite, but a good, like maybe he puts together like a Andrew Carr season. He gives you 8 points a game or something, a few boards, a couple blocks. He's good.
And I've swung back to where I in the first, when we predicted the starting lineup, I predicted Yelovich. I'm all in on Mo Diabate.
I am too. It's not even, to me now, it's no longer even a conversation, not even a debate for me anymore. Mm-hmm. But if I said, Carson, you can have the same power forward room that we have right now next year, or you can have Mika and then figure it out from there. What side of that would you choose?
Same power forward, because you're not taking a chance.
Yeah, and I agree. These recruits are great and all, but they're not all home runs. They're just not. You look back, like last year's recruiting class here. Let's go back to. Can I go back to 2025? Kind of want to look at like the top 10 here. Let's do this. I just want to do it's a great conversation to have with the draft being last night as well.
You could just go back through the past. Like Chris Livingston was top 10 player. Khalil Whitney was a top 10 player. Like a lot of these guys don't pan out. Like as many do, there's more that don't.
I agree with you. And I'm to the point right now where we're always going to take shots on these recruits when we can. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I almost think that in some ways, Coach Pope is building his roster to where these freshmen could be irrelevant and his team's still good. But if they are great, this team's even better.
Yeah.
You take away Jasper and Malachi and Braden Hawthorne from our team right now, I think we still have a top 15, top 10 team.
Yeah.
But then you've also got a shot at 2 potential lottery picks in Matt Moreno and Jasper and a guy.
And I've heard good things about Hawthorne early in practice.
Yeah. I'm serious. That's the point. I think that's how Pope's.
And that's another guy that could be your 4 position that we didn't even throw in there.
Yeah. So, I agree with you. So that's our take on recruiting. Carson, do you have anything else? Because I have a few more things I want to bring up before we get out of here today.
No, that's it. I kind of think it'll be a 3 to 4 person class, depending on what happens with the guys this season.
Yeah.
But it's high quality recruits. No matter who we end up with, we're going to end up with some 5 stars.
Yeah. Like I'll read you this. Here are the rankings of the 14 players that we have offered according to 24/7 Sports. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 14, 17, 18, 20, 28. So the lowest player you've offered is ranked 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's my point. Pope is casting. Not everyone on that list of 14 names is even probably going to visit Kentucky at the end of the road. But I do think but I do think that there is going to be a handful of those guys that end up being in this recruiting class. So I'm with you, Carson. Leave in the comments, what are the 3 players that y'all want? The 3 players that Mark Pope cannot miss on in this 2026 class. Let us know that in the YouTube comments on top of the Red stuff and the LaRosa stuff. We're curious about that stuff too. But I want to change the subject, Carson, because I've got another question for you. I believe it was yesterday that the NCAA announced that you're allowed to play 32 regular season games now, adding one game from the previous 31. You don't have to. That'll start the 26-27 season. So when these players that we're talking about are freshmen, this rule will be implemented. I have 3 ways that I think that you could use this game. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what the 3 ways. There's more than 3 ways, but I'll tell you the way I look at it, Carson. Tell me if you agree with one of these 3 or if you'd have a different way you'd use this game. First thing I would do is add another home and away type of thing with a big time school. Now that we're out of this thing, I guess we could be seeing Duke in that SEC ACC challenge, but
I'd love to just have a home and home with Duke.
I think that'd be great. Maybe you do something like that. But then, I'm all for playing these great games, but okay, so if you play 18 SEC games and you've got 31 total games, that's 13 non-conference games. If you add another, you got 14. I don't know if I want to be playing. I don't know what are my thoughts on playing 11.
Yeah, but the thing is, it can't hurt you because, if you lose to Duke, what are you going to do? Drop one spot in the net rankings? It's not going to hurt you.
I do agree with you, but
it prepares you more for March. I would. People are like, oh, we need to play more in-state Kentucky teams. I don't really care to play WKU or
that was my second option.
Yeah,
is to add another.
That only hurts you. People are going to be mad at that, but that only hurts you. Why would we play WKU? That does not help us. It only gives them a chance to beat us. It does not help us in the slightest.
Yeah, and then the third option, Carson, and we haven't done it in a while, but is to go play in the Battle for the Bahamas, to go play in the Maui Invitational. I don't know how that works. I think our scheduling conflict with that, what is it? Is it the Gonzaga game? There's something. Are those around Thanksgiving?
Sure
they're always around. It's Thanksgiving. Those are always.
Yeah,
around.
It might be the that tournament they hold at Rupp every season. That fake tournament.
But I'm just saying, now this is a little selfish because I would go to that for work. But
I want to go. I want to be in that as soon as possible.
I want to go to that. And Coach Pope said that it was his introductory press conference. Isn't that right, Carson? He was like,
"Yeah,
anybody here like Maui? Let's go to Maui." You know what I mean? I'd love
or
that.
the Battle for Atlantis. Me and Dad went up for that. But when we played in the Bahamas back when we were playing the foreign teams, that trip was one of the funnest trips ever. Yeah. And to go either to Atlantis or to Maui, those are 2 great options.
You know what they have in Atlantis that they don't have in Hawaii?
A casino.
That's the one. That's the one. Island Atlantis.
Bet on the Cats to win and then throw it all on black after.
Yeah, it's a $2,000 trip and it's either going to be free or it's going to be a $4,000 trip. One or the other. We'll find out then. But I'd love to play in one of those. So of those 3 options, Carson, and obviously you've already written off playing WKU, EKU, NKU, whatever. What would you like to see? Would you like to see us playing one of those? Or you could say both. You could say switch every year, but what would you like to see us do with that extra game?
I think either enroll in one of those tournaments or face a team like Duke.
Yeah.
I think playing a team out of conference, that caliber, gets the views. Everyone's talking about it. Kentucky and Duke would be the most marketable game ever. It was last season. It'll be this season. Everyone cares about Kentucky and Duke, and I think it should be a home and home series. Or you go play in Atlantis or Maui and you get to watch us play a couple games like that and go down there and we'll travel and we'll get to go to the beach and it'll be a lot of fun. I think either one of those options is a great option.
I hate to say it, but you have to play your not good teams. You have to play them.
Yeah, I think they could do that they could just schedule WKU or NKU as one of the games instead of the other teams that we're playing.
I want to pull this up. I want to pull up what even is the name of that thing, of that thing that we host the two random teams every year?
Something invitational. It's I don't know if it's a Rupp Arena Invitational or something like that.
How do I get I'm on our football schedule, and I promise you that's not what I want to be looking at.
Hey, he's motivated.
He does look good, man.
Yeah. Hey, he's been getting on that Stairmaster. I tell you what, he looks good.
Well, there are 6 steps in and out of stagger. But I was checking. I was hoping that you were going to be laughing when I came back. I was looking up the schedule. I was hoping you were going to appreciate that one.
Oh my goodness.
But looking at, okay, what is the name of this thing? Is that the NC Central thing? I don't know. I actually don't even think it's technically on the schedule of that thing yet. But
It's called something invitational. It really doesn't matter.
I don't know the principle of that. Like, what is the point of that? I don't know what it is. I don't know what that's for. If it's for like fundraising, then keep doing it. I don't like, if this is for like research money for something, like we don't know what it's for. So if it's like got a good cause, keep doing it. But
no, this is strictly scheduling. Like we're not dissing it. Like it's strictly scheduling what we would want to see in the future.
I agree. So that's my thought there. So I guess, hey, we'll make it a long comment section today. What would y'all like to see us do with that extra game? Curious on that.
They're also they're also voting to make the field of 68 to 76.
Let's talk about this for like 1 or 2 minutes. And then if it does happen, we'll do a whole video on it. But give me like a 30-second, 1 minute spiel on your thoughts on that, and then I'll do the same.
I can give you 2 words.
What?
It's stupid. I hate it. Like, I honestly hate it. I think it's so dumb. Why mess with something that's not broke? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, the NCAA tournament, to me, there are a few things in life that are perfect. The Masters, the NCAA tournament, shower beer is on there for sure. I'd say I'd add keg beer. I'd add beer dye.
Beer.
I'd say hooking up with like a 3-pound smallmouth bass.
Yeah.
Striping a driver down the middle. There are a few things in life that are just absolutely perfect. But the NCAA tournament is one of them. And I just don't, like, this is not a concern for the Kentuckys and these big time SECs. This is a concern. Making the NCAA tournament for some of these smaller schools is such a special thing. And every time you add more and more teams, it's just it's just going to take away from that. I don't understand it. The only thing that I'm okay with, and I mean the only thing, and I don't know how they're going about doing it, Carson. If you know more about this, you tell me.
I honestly have no clue other than the fact that they're expanding.
If they're looking to do it in the matter of like adding a few like extra like first 4 in games.
Yeah, I think playing games would actually be exciting if you did like the better rated team gets a home game and the other team has to come to their gym to play it out. Like that would be kind of fun.
Means it's the field of it's the field of 64 after all that's said, or all that's said and done. And that to me is what I would like to see happen. I would like to see, if you want to do that, if you want to make a 12-team tournament, I guess it would be for the 8 or find a way to make it like for 8 spots, and it's like one of the 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 seeds come from that or something. I'm cool with that. It's more stuff to watch. It's better. It's more views for college basketball. But if the plan is to like somehow just like the tournament into like a bigger bubble, hell no. I'm out on that. So once again, that's why I just want to talk about that for a second, because Carson and I haven't looked deep into what the plan is with it. Partially because it just annoys me every time I hear about it. I don't even want to know about it. I'm hoping the vote says no and that's done.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that if the vote is yes and that happens. We'll talk about it when that happens. But let's just all hope that doesn't happen unless you're pro that happening, and then let us know why. But the last thing I want to talk about, Carson, is the 2 guys that we could see go off the board tonight. And before we talk about Kobe Bray and Amari Williams, I do want to say this, and I wrote an article about this yesterday. When was the last time, Carson, that round 1 of an NBA draft felt the way it did yesterday? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. I mean,
for Kentucky fans, I mean, obviously.
For Kentucky fans, well, it had to be 2009 was the first time or the last time we didn't have a first round draft pick. So probably then.
And I mean, the reason I bring that up is hope you enjoyed not having to watch the NBA draft, because that will be the last time of the Mark Pope era. I mean, he's going to get we all know Quainton's I mean, and I wrote that in the article. I think Jaden Quaintance. We all think Cam Williams. We all think Jasper Johnson. We all maybe Otega Owe has an All-American season and does kind of what Walter Clayton Jr. did this year. I mean, there's legitimately there, and there's more names than that. I mean, Colin Chandler's got the athleticism to be drafted. Like
Yelovich is a question mark.
Exactly. Like there are Brandon Garrison could be a first round pick if he's crazy good. Like this is the last time Kentucky fans will be not paying attention to the first round of the NBA draft during the Mark Pope era. And I think that's something to be discussed.
And I want to say something because we were getting flack on Twitter a lot from this last night. And I mean, our boy down south, the leftist for the Hogs, he didn't get one either. And that's the first time since 2007. So that didn't work out well either. And the guy who had 3 top 10 picks, who does less with more? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Did you see the stat that we were like 9-2 against first round picks this year or something like that? Which partially obviously plays into, there it is. We're a playoff team. Quote, Gavin Lux. Remember that. But I think that there's something to be said about that. And I mean, once again, we're not trying to bash Calipari, but I mean,
but like if it's going to be the conversation,
yeah,
that's what, because he built his brand off of first round picks. That's what Cal is. He's not a team coach. He's a first round draft pick coach.
I mean, Carter Knox back in school, Boogie Fland now an enemy over for everybody.
DJ Wagner's been in school for 3 years. He was the number 1 overall recruit.
Yeah. I mean, like Calipari didn't have any recruits. So anyone that's trying to, I saw a lot about those comparisons, and we're really like, we're not out here looking to bash Calipari today. But what I'll say is people making those comparisons, Mark Pope put a team together in a month. Calipari brought his recruits over with him. He still had his 5 stars. It's not like people that are like, well, he made a school change too. And yeah, he brought all of his 5 stars with him. They just, I guess Billy Richmond was technically a 4-star, but he brought those guys with him, and they didn't turn into NBA players. So, I mean, that comparison should not be made right now. I mean, Pope's going to get his, Calipari's going to get his. Like, that's the reality. They're going to have their first.
College basketball's changed. Now you need veteran guys on your team that aren't always first round draft picks that can win you games.
Yeah, and we're not going to talk long about it, but I am curious when Adu's going to go. I was surprised he didn't go.
He'll go soon in the second round.
I think he'll be one of the first 5 picks.
I'm rooting for Adu though. I love me
too, man. I love Adu Thier.
He's awesome. He was probably my favorite Kentucky player during those seasons that he was here.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I for sure agree. But so what are your thoughts? Where do you see Brea and Williams going here in a few hours, Carson? What do you want to see them happen? And what's the NBA upside for these guys? What do you see coming up?
Yeah, the thing with me for Brea is he lacks defensive ability a lot. So it's going to be hard for him to, I mean, shooting is always a key factor in the NBA. We all know that. And I think he'll go somewhere in the 40s to 50s. But he's very defensive. He has a lot of defensive liability. So it's going to be a very big problem for him, which, I mean, could change in the future if he gets in the right system, whatever. But I honestly, the guy that I'm keying on is Amari Williams. I think he could go higher than people expect, and I think he's more of a unicorn. Because if he can get his handle down, you know how good of a passer he is. And if he could start to finish around the rim more, he could be someone that we talk about in a couple of years, like, wow, that dude actually panned out pretty well.
Yeah, he could be the guy drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, and you go, oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be Jokic. I'm just saying I think that he could be a guy you see on a graphic in 5 years going notable second-round picks in the last 10 years, and Amari Williams on there. I mean, he has the upside if he can get better handling the basketball, not get better around the rim and finishing, to be like a Giannis type of player. Just the way he plays basketball, he can do that. And obviously he's a little bit taller and he's a little bit strong. I'm just telling you, he has serious upside in him. Amari Williams does. Brea, because of his shooting, is going to have an NBA role, but that he's got to get better at defending, and I don't know when or how he's going to do that. Because, I mean, he's been in college basketball a long time. If it would have happened, it would have happened. I don't know if he's ever going to be a great defender, but we know he can shoot the lights out, and he'll do that at the next level, which is why I believe he'll have a role.
Yeah, 100%. Like, both of these guys are going to get drafted tonight, and they're both going to – I think they'll probably both start out in the G Leagues, and then it'll just – well, however that happens. If they make it through the G League and they're killing it, then they'll get called up and get their moment to shine. And if they take advantage of that, then it'll work out. I'm still waiting on Mr. Oscar Sheboy to get his chance because he's been killing it in the G League. And
that would forever frustrate me. I mean, that's why I say people are ruining baseball by all these pitchers or throwers, and they're not pitchers anymore. That's why shout out Andrew Abbott. A lot of Reds talk today. I love you, Andrew Abbott. You are the last in a line of pitchers. I think basketball is being ruined, and I think if you had to point a finger, it would have to be at Steph Curry. But
he definitely changed the game.
But Oscar Sheboy, I mean, if he was in the 90s, he'd be a yearly all-star. And I mean, you can't deny being elite at something. And if you're a team that struggles defensively, go get that on rebounding. I mean, go get that guy and say, go grab us 15 rebounds a game. I don't care if you shoot the ball one time.
The problem,
he's scoring the ball too.
The problem is he's on the Pacers. So like they don't really lack any depth, and they're pretty freaking good.
I thought he was on the Jazz now.
Oh, did he get traded to the Jazz? He might be on the Jazz now. You might be.
No,
right
he is on the Jazz. He played a couple games for the Jazz. He actually started the game.
Well, then he should play for the Jazz. They stink.
Yeah, they won like 15, 20 games. Hell,
the funniest part about the Jazz was like Ace Bailey's like, I'm not going to interview for the Jazz. I don't want to go to the Jazz, and then the Jazz just draft him.
Yeah, no, I know. And then, did you see Colin Murray Boyle's reaction?
Yeah,
to getting drafted. That was pretty funny. If y'all haven't seen that, go look at Colin Murray Boyle's reaction to getting drafted by the Raptors.
What do you think
about? I don't know why.
The biggest story of the draft was probably Danny Wolf's brother.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Like
what are you talking about that? Yeah.
What about that kid, the big guy from China getting drafted 16, and he was
awesome.
out in the stands?
He was in the stands. He was sitting in the stands, and he just gets called out of the stands to come down. That was cool.
I mean, at that point, I was hoping I was going to get drafted. I was like, you never know, man. I'll drive up there.
You got to turn your ringer on just in case.
Just in case. Yeah. I mean, seriously.
That dude will be good, though.
Yeah, he is good. It was so funny because it was just like, what? And I'd heard of him from mock drafts, but a lot of people were like, who? What? Who is you draft Tingus Pingus? What are you doing? What did they do? I love that video. So, all right, Carson. Any other thoughts on all this stuff before we call it a week?
That's all I got. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Stay cold. Like it's too hot. It is way too hot. We're on heat advisory. Get near a pool or a lake if you got one because it is hot.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be a scorching weekend, and that's Kentucky for you. It rains for 90 straight days, and then it's 206 degrees. So love it here. But hope everyone has a great weekend. Answer all those questions that we asked you in the comments. We're curious to hear people's thoughts. Really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you hear the whole way and you haven't hit it yet. Go ahead and hit it. We'd appreciate that. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.